Howdy, Beefalo Bard here, and welcome to the Beefalo Show. Now, as you can tell by the lovely attire that I'm wearing, I'm still running on the Firecrest build. Just been screwing around with it, playing around, enjoying myself a little bit with it. However, I'm going to stretch things out a little bit and step out of my norm. Just because, well, for the hell of it. What I'm going to do, besides fixing me a lovely cup of coffee, yes, I'm fixing a cup of coffee at 8 o'clock at night. I'll probably drink one more after this too, and then go straight to bed after I drink coffee. But that's not what I'm talking about. I am going to do some skirmish mode. I am probably going to do terrible at it. And we'll make one little comment at a time. I am using the new mouse. It's working fine. However, the mouse pad, after I cleaned it, has some little fuzzies on it, so it is kind of making it to where it's not wanting to slide, and I'm not as, well, I'm not very good anyway, but I'm not going to be able to be as quick on movements because it's going to hang up from time to time. And it's already gotten me killed out in the wild a few times. Well, at least once or twice. But we're going to run in here and show you what builds I have available on this. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. I've got the Tactician's build. I've got the Firecrest and D3 build. I don't have my Nomad build on this character. This is character number 1. The Nomad is on number 2. But I'm going to go ahead and run the Firecrest build in the new skirmish mode. And just for shits and grins, we're going to see what happens. What is this, a live server? You queue up for something and can't get a battle? Now, what's happened before, whenever I've gone through this, and one other person joins, or 2 other people join, or what have you, end up being a 1 versus 1 or 1 versus 2. I've actually, the last time this happened, I was 1 versus 2 for quite some time. I did have somebody else finally join in, and he did absolutely nothing. And then the other team filled up, and then it was, you know, another person joined, another person joined. It wasn't too bad, but, and as I mentioned before, it was just kind of amusing. The one guy that was giving me shit for one reason or another ended up with no kills whatsoever the entire battle. I think I had 4 that one. So I'm just going to see exactly how useful the Firecrest build is. I'm not looking really so much forward to getting the flame turret out and it doing very much except for either being security or distraction. I'm kind of looking forward to using the new LMG with its high rate of fire, being able to spit lead downrange quickly and getting the people on fire. And that's what I'm kind of hoping for. And once they're on fire, I'll be able to do a ton load more damage, which will be interesting. Wow, one person joins, immediately leaves. Schmuck. Well, being that it's taking this long, it may end up just launching as a 2 versus 2. I'm okay with that, but I'd like to get a full match going. A lot of people are preparing for the patch, and we're supposed to have gotten the next global event starting on the 3rd of October, which is my birthday, by the way. I'm not sure how that's going to work. If it's going to be assault mode, that's fine. Somewhat prepared for that now as it is on live servers with a decent D3 FNC set. The front line's probably going to be a good way to go because the assault mode, if you don't know, primarily when you're at close range, you're going to get a huge bonus to damage. So I've kind of scaled up with the current build status. I've built up the the frontline armor set to have higher electronics and skill power. Now that's going to be fine up until this patch 1.8 hits, because once 1.8 hits, that's not how you're going to build your shield up. You'll actually build your shield up with stamina instead, and it's going to pretty much take that whole build that I've got and throw it out the window. So let's see if we can actually get a match. I'm not going to sit here and wait for 10 minutes just trying to get a match in a 4 versus 4 game. I'll just go do something else, do like I originally planned on doing, and just discussing the sets, gear sets overall opinions, preparations for 1.8 on the live servers, and what you should be doing, things of that nature. The number one thing you really need to be doing is farming for exotic caches. There's a couple reasons for that. You've got time to start stacking up on them. Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe it is, the servers kind of reset, and you'll be able to redo all of your incursions to get your exotic cache again. So try to get them done before Friday, and then after Friday hits, you've got an entire week to get the rest of them done. If you've got 4 characters that are level 30 with decent gear sets, then just keep farming all the way through. Get as many exotic caches as possible. Now, the main reasons for having the exotic caches in your inventory when the patch hits is that you're going to have a good chance of getting one of the 4 new guns, which is a good thing. The other is actually to potentially get new classified gear set items, and the other is going to be because they contain division tech, and if you're going to try to god roll all your armor pieces, you're going to need a lot of division tech. On average, for me to take a classified full 6-piece classified gear set and 100% it across the board max stat, you're talking somewhere around 2,500 or more division tech. If you're out farming in the new area, or if you're farming the dark zone, every time you find one of those little division tech cases, you're getting 1 division tech. 1. Currently right now, the exotic gear caches or exotic caches are going to give you between, I think it was like 23 to 38 division tech, so that's going to be helpful. And around the same if you get the Westside Pure caches. So after the patch hits, your best chance to farm it is actually to get over and complete the dynamic missions that pop up in the Westside North and South, Westside area. Doing those are going to give you probably your easiest form of getting division tech. Well, doesn't look like we're going to get much chance of a game right now, because they're down to 1 person on the other team and only 3 on this side. Oh yeah, there's somebody else. And immediately leaves. What a utter butthole. I mean, seriously. You're going to come in, see there's not enough people to immediately get a match, so you're going to immediately leave. Just like you. You're an absolute and utter douche nozzle. You're screwing it up for everybody else. If the other 2 people that were there had waited just a minute more, we could have had a match. And now people are leaving off of the blue team. So, impatient little turds, you need to settle down, wait a couple minutes. If you want to get a match, hey, by the time you get a match, you get in there, you do your thing, there's a better chance of, once you get done with a match, getting another match, just in case not everybody rage quits. I suck, I know I do, so I'm probably going to quit after 1 or 2 battles anyway. The whole point of this was to get in there and see how useful this was going to be. And getting ready to leave myself, and I'll do something that's definitely out of character, and I may even just go into the dark zone. Yes, I said it. So let's actually do that. I know I'm not going to be worth a damn in a dark zone, but I'm not going to sit here and wait for 30 minutes out of a live broadcast just for a damn skirmish battle. Now, once it goes live, I'm sure this is not going to be the case. And I'm pretty sure the buttholes that are engaging in general douchebaggery are going to be hovering around DZ 1 and 2. So, that's actually... well, I don't have that checkpoint. Shows you how much I actually go in and out of the dark zone. Let's go to West 31st Street. Now, the primary here is not to actually get too carried away. I am not going to go rogue. I have no intentions of going rogue. But I'm pretty sure that the way the things have been going, it shouldn't be long before we encounter a rogue. I like this LMG with this setup because it just spits fire. I mean, it throws lead down range. I mean, really quickly. Let's actually head to that checkpoint and get it unlocked, so I can actually teleport there. Of course, that'll be on this server. It won't carry over to the live, but what the hell? You know, why not? Now, I am trying to refrain from using harsh language. Not because I'm delicate or anything, but for some reason, if you drop the F-bomb or too many curse words, then the YouTube new filter is actually going to flag it to where it said flag, F-L-A-G. We'll flag it to where the it says not suitable for all advertisers. Yes, go ahead and die. So, I'm going to go ahead and pop this just so I can come back whenever necessary. Now, it's only going to be for this particular character, which kind of sucks. So if I decide to come back with another character, I'll be able to just walk right in. Well, I won't be able to just walk right in. I'll have to actually do the same thing all over again. Because I don't come here. It's just because of the average general douchebaggery, you know, where players just act like they're idiots. So, yeah, back to that. You get flagged for saying, you know, for not suitable for all advertisers, and it's just kind of BS. And you have to go back in and request a manual review, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's still going to flag you. You still have to do the click on it for manual review. And it doesn't necessarily happen right off the bat. It may take a couple of days, and then it actually shows that. Seriously, you charge against it here and just throw grenades. Do that too. That'll throw some good spirits. You know, I like this overall. You know, when they're on fire, you do more damage kind of thing. Although that does get a little dangerous whenever you get too close proximity-wise, and when they detonate, yeah, it's quite easy for you to get set on fire as well. I'm gonna let these guys just finish themselves off. honestly odd that I haven't seen any other players yet. And stick by my gun, so to speak, of always reload when you got a chance. Alright, since we haven't seen anybody, not really going to pick up any junk. And just no desire to do an extraction. Yeah, it's kind of depressing. You know, the one time I actually choose that I'm going to run Dark Zone. And I don't see a single soul. I've seen lots of videos of lots of stuff going on in the Dark Zone. But he was dead already. Well, oh well. I'll see what I can do to clear out this checkpoint or whatever this is called. Well, I got all my explosion kills taken care of. You two are just going to sit there and stay on cover. I can get you off cover. Oh, it's buckshot. Well, I'm going to go ahead and reload. And he has reinforcements coming. Damn it. Yep, see, that just kind of sucks. Now, I'm on fire. You got to go. Now, this gun isn't quite as good. What I know is there. Here's a supply drop. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just telling you to get on cover, you freaking idiot thing. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be somebody else going for, if there is anybody even here, going for the supply drop. And I see more NPCs. Right, well, just got that one sniper or whatever there. You know what? I'm not gonna play you a little game. I head towards the supply drop. Where it be? Oh, I'm on the wrong street. Now, even if I don't get the supply drop, I hear some shooting and gunfire and whatnot, like other people are actually going for it. Let's just set some shit on fire. Well, that was easy. Junk gear, yay. Well, there's another supply drop. However, I don't think I'm gonna get there in 30 seconds. Alright, so I was let down on skirmish mode, and now I'm getting let down on dark zone. So either that was a gang war, or there was another player. Thinking that was a gang war. Major letdown. Well, I just can't seem to get a fight tonight. Well, that being the case, let's get out of here then. Didn't pick up anything that I need to extract, so don't have to worry about that. Maybe, if we're lucky, we might actually get a skirmish. It's actually the lowest population I've seen on overall. Yeah, since they kicked it out. Kind of hoping to get a little bit of a test to see what this would do in PvP. See how other players react to getting hit with a flame turret and with getting set on fire. Now, I understand that there's going to be, I don't know, some resistance to... Alright, I went to the normal. Shows you how often I actually come in here. But yeah, a lot of players will end up with a lot of resistances, would assume, to be able to prevent from getting set on fire, and you know, against flame turrets and shock turrets, primarily shock turrets. But you know, if they've got high resistance levels, then they're going to be able to resist the fire. But how often and how much resistance will that work with? I mean, if I'm steady shooting somebody and setting them on fire, and then... Yeah, my saving that. You know, I mean, how much resistance does that work with? I mean, does it work when you're constantly being set on fire? It seems like you'd build up an immunity with the gear, and nothing would work after a while. So I don't know how well it's going to work in PvP, which is why I wanted to get into the Dark Zone or get into a skirmish and actually repeatedly start setting somebody on fire, you know? I know that with NPCs, and I don't know how it works on doggies. Just so you know, I love dogs, I love animals. I don't love everybody's dog, but I love animals in general. These aren't real animals, this is a video game, so it really doesn't matter. But, yeah, I guess we're going to have to wait until another time to actually get that to happen. You know, I just didn't see anybody in the Dark Zone, and I would imagine that since most of the time that I've gone there, it's been DZ1 where people are hanging out, or DZ2 where all the general douchebaggery is going on. So who knows? I might have to wait until Friday to actually be able to get some hot, flamey barbecue action. And we'll try this one more time. See what happens. Okay, we're not gonna sit here and wait. Nobody in queue, so I'm not gonna be the only one in queue. Alright, so that's Firecrest. It works well. Sets things on fire. Good barbecue. Now, let's move on to quickly talking about the D3 FNC one more time. And I'm not 100% certain that I have this gear set up very well. In fact, I can see that I don't, because that's 7% skill haste. So I haven't rolled this one 100%. So, yeah, we're going to leave it at that. We're not going to run it. But the whole point is, the new version, you're going to need stamina. And that's going to give you towards your buff and for your shield strength. For every 2,000 stamina, you gain 34% health on your shield. So, you're going to need to spec as much as you can into stamina if you want a strong shield. I would say at least go 6,000 minimum, if not 9. But if you go at least 6,000 and try to put at least 6,000 in firearms, throw the rest in electronics, then roll with it. As you can see, this one right here, I haven't really done anything with this setup, so it's kind of garbage. It's 6,000 electronics, and electronics does nothing for the ballistic shield. Not anymore. On the tacticians, I still say run the turret, you know, regular turret, and run a seeker mine. You know, the seekers, yeah, meh, not phenomenal. The turret, not as good as the D3. I mean, is the Firecrest. And honestly, I'll probably end up going back to a Firecrest build for a general screw-around build, just because of the addition to the range, and because instead of around, what I'm actually getting is in the 11 to 12,000 range on the turret. The flame turret with that Firecrest build was getting 17,000 damage per lick of fire, so to speak. The sticky bomb, a little bit more effort involved in using them. You actually have to aim, but as you see, 1,000,000 hit points of damage. If you could manage to get one on somebody and detonate it, they're done. Absolutely done. Very small radius. I never really messed with the explosion radius mods, but yeah, blinding, you know, flashbang, not really that great. Disruptor might be handy in skirmish. People are throwing the turrets out. You can deactivate their turret or their first aid kit just by hitting with EMP. Definitely for PvP, I would say run some type of scanner. You know, run whichever one you like. Damage is increased by using this one. That's never a bad thing. That's not that useful. And recon pack, not as useful. I guess for PvP, the tactical scanner is probably your best bet. Haven't really seen that running mobile cover or smart cover is very useful. Ballistic shield, very seldom. It might have its uses here and there in PvP, but you know, you got too many people doing the chicken dance and throwing grenades and shock turrets and things like that. There's too many ways to counter the shield, just like there is for countering turrets. So, honestly, for a PvP setup, other than the Firecrest build, I would say run tactical scanner. You might want to think about the Firecrest with a tactical scanner for PvP, but you have to wonder how good the flame turret's going to be. It's going to be great for if you're going to set up and snipe somewhere, and I would say snipe with a machine gun, you know, a light machine gun, just because of volume of fire and the fact that you're going to set them on fire, and while they're on fire you're going to get more damage. Then use your tactical scanner and use a flame turret as a method of covering your rear or covering their ability to maneuver through a certain area. Once they come through, they get set on fire, you can pop out and then just bullet hose them. So yeah, the Firecrest is going to have its use in PvP. Hey, melee kills. That's an easy one to do with the D3 FNC, the frontline set, because you just walk up next to them, taking their fire, and just smack them with a shield 2, 3, 4 times, and they're done. And that's on the elites. Alright, what I'm going to try to do here is see if I can switch characters without it dropping the stream or doing something unusual. I'm going to go to my number 2. So we'll see if it hangs on, and hopefully it'll do okay, and hopefully you're still hearing me because I have the microphone set to pick up through the streaming software and not through the game. Always have push to talk enabled for in-game, so I can just keep on yammering while we're going through this. And if it'll ever hurry up, just quick run through. If you can see this, this is number 2, number 3, number 4 is a Chicky. I'll explain that at a later time why it's a female character. But let's go on to number 2, and let's make sure we're still streaming. Really sucks not having my second monitor right now. I really hate the fact that it's dead. I turn it on, the light on the front comes on saying that it's powered up, and I have, you know, I can see the screen, I see it show up, and then it just goes to black after about 2 seconds. And if you know anything about monitor repair, and if you're a decent gamer, then you need to be able to maintain and work on your own gear instead of, oh no, my monitor broke, and throw it away and buy a new one. This will make number 3 for the amount of times that I've had to go into this monitor and repair it. Just simply because, well, I mean, hell, I've had it for 10 or 11 years now. It's not a, I mean, it's a 1050 monitor, so it's not an HD 1080p super awesome great monitor. The monitor that I'm using right now is actually a 32-inch television, and I hear a lot of people complaining, well, TVs, you get too much of this and too much of that. You know what? I don't give a shit. Most of the time I don't even clean my glasses very often, so it doesn't really matter. I'm in 1080p playing the game with this video card. I've got everything turned up to maximum pretty much, and you know, maybe 1 or 2 set on high instead of very high, but I'm averaging, worst case scenario, I'm in the 55 range on FPS. Worst case. I very seldom on the live servers ever see my FPS counter dip below 60. Good enough for me. artifacting, pixelation, and all this other jazz. Don't see it. The image looks clear enough. And the thing is, I bought a dumb TV. I did not buy a smart TV. It took me a while to actually find a stupid TV. I didn't need all this fancy image enhancing and this and that and everything else. And I really didn't give a damn about getting, you know, where it supports this and can stream that and Wi-Fi this. And there's no network connection. There's no Wi-Fi. There's no Bluetooth. There's no Netflix and Roku and blah, 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 blah. There's nothing. It is a dumb TV. It is a 32-inch 1080p television. No tuner, nothing. This is a... I got it as stripped down on all the extras as possible. And I'm pretty happy with the performance. It looks good. The bezel on everything looks nice. The stand is kind of eh. But where I've got it sitting, it works out perfectly. I may end up putting something underneath it to raise it up about 4 inches later on, but it sits well on my desk. It's almost as wide as the main body of the front part of my desk here, but it works. However, back to the other monitor, it's a 23-inch. It's a 1050 resolution, so it's not a full HD monitor by any means. But like I said, it is right at between 10 and 12 years old. The primary things that goes wrong with a monitor, if you've never actually worked on a monitor before or a TV before, I've gotten so many TVs free, which I need to start looking around to see if anybody else has got any to give away. But I've gotten so many of them free because, well, they turn it on and, you know, it just doesn't come up. It won't power on at all. I don't know what's wrong with it. 99% of the time, whenever that happens, all you have to do is... I found a place that sells these repair kits, and it comes with... The last one that I picked up was only a few dollars more than actually just buying the individual components separately. And what it was, it came with a soldering gun, a desoldering iron, a little suction device for desoldering. It came with solder. It came with the capacitors, and that's the number one thing that usually goes wrong with these TVs and monitors is the capacitors. They bulge out, and you're going to have 3, 4, 5 maybe that have gone bad, and the only way you can really quickly tell is if you look at them and the top of the capacitor. If you don't know what a capacitor is, GTS. There's a little pie slices where whenever it builds up pressure on the inside and goes bad, it'll dome up a little bit. You'll see a good one will be flat on top and a bad one will be bulged on top. It's pretty simple. They're marked with usually the negative terminal of the capacitor has a little, usually has a stripe with negative marks going all the way up, or dashed lines, however you want to look at it. But it tells you what side's the negative. The circuit boards are almost always marked. Worst case scenario, you take a picture, write it on a piece of masking tape and stick it on there so you know which side to put the negative terminal. So that's kind of a no-brainer. If you don't know how to solder, well, you know, whatever, then don't do this. But you know, just you heat up the solder for the individual terminals, and you desolder it, you put the new capacitors in, put your TV or monitor back together again, and usually that's all it takes. Well, if you're having the problem that I'm having now, you turn the power on and you see the screen come up and you think, oh great, it works, and then all of a sudden it just goes black, but the power's still on, then what you've got is probably an old CFL type monitor, and it's little small complex fluorescent bulbs that are, depending on the size of the monitor, they're really thin fluorescent bulbs, and they go bad. And essentially what you've got to do is just order a replacement kit and replace those CFLs, and there you go. There are conversion kits and ways of converting it over to LED, but what's happening is you're losing your backlighting. And if I could figure out and I'll look more into it, but a cheap way of actually modifying this one to become an LED backlight instead of a CFL backlight, then I'm just going to do that, because honestly, LEDs are going to last 1,000 times longer, and it's one less thing I have to worry about. I mean, like I said, even though it is an old monitor, it looks good and works good. Well, normally. For a second monitor, it's fine. You know, I've got it sitting off to the left-hand side. I've got other monitors, but they're VGA output. Don't really want to dig those out of mothballs just for that. But you know, this old monitor, it's got multiple different ports for plugging in different cables, so it works. And I'll probably end up swapping in another 34-inch monitor. And actually, looking at this, this is a Samsung monitor. This is my primary monitor. I'll probably pick up 2 more of the 32-inch, the same size, or 1 more of this same model, and then maybe a 34 or a 36 or 40 or whatever, a little bit bigger for the main monitor, and then the flanking monitors will be the 32-inch. You know, that should be good enough. I'm not planning on playing in surround mode, but it is nice being able to have OBS up on the left and, you know, YouTube up on the right. I could actually have it split between multiple monitors. That way I can actually see if there's anybody chatting with me right now. I can't see it right now because I'm playing full screen. I'm sure if I went to Windows mode and kept the stream, and right now the stream is in 720. I do apologize for that, but my internet sucks. Nothing I can do about it. I have no income. So until I'm actually making enough money to afford a better internet, and yeah, it's just gonna be what it is. Questions wise, I get some occasional questions and comments on things that I do for my builds, and I always love the input. I really do. You know, the gear set that I've got work great the way that they are, but you know, if there's any suggestions that will actually make it to where it's better overall, I'm all ears. So definitely leave comments for me. You know, I always like seeing them. You know, it makes my day to see comments. You know, getting these comments also, they help me with getting more views. Yes, I'm going to get on this bandwagon. Sorry, got to do it. I need to break the 1,000 subscriber mark. If I can get past the 1,000 subscriber mark, then it will allow me to do more things. I can start bringing in some, I guess you could say, premium content, but in the short term, we're going to get back away from that aspect of it, and I'm actually going to discuss a few things on how I'm actually planning on growing the channel a little bit more. Getting ready to make my final decision on a webcam so that I can actually incorporate video, but I'm also going to be looking for another monitor just so that oh yeah, incendiary kills, now that I've changed over to the frickin' account without the Firecrest. Oh, I do have a Firecrest. So yeah, I want to find another monitor so I can get back to actually doing like I was doing before. Being able to at least having a second monitor for seeing what I'm doing, seeing all my stream info, that kind of stuff. Alright, you noobs, come on over here. You know you like getting set on fire. But it's really killing me not having a second monitor right now. So I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to afford getting it right now. But what I will do short term, I really want to add the video. I really do. That way, I know I'm depriving all you guys and gals of seeing my beautiful, beautiful face. And I don't want you to feel depraved like you're missing out, you know? And, you know, I get my ass kicked because I'm not paying attention right now. Yay. Yeah, just totally not paying attention to what I'm doing. But I want to have the video, the webcam in, especially whenever I'm doing the show, you know. That way you've got me on screen. There's some things I need to do to the area where I'm recording to make it a little bit nicer. I want to put up a screen wall. That way it kind of closes in the area. This is a rather big room, so I want to close in the area a little bit more, make it to where I can control the light a little bit better too. But the big thing is getting another monitor so that I can actually see what's going on, make sure the video is working correctly, make sure everything else is going right. You know, the camera that I've got now was working, and for some reason it is not. It's not displaying correctly. I can get it to come up, but it's getting a frame rate somewhere around 3. 1 frame every 3 minutes. Yeah, so it's just not gonna cut it. Alright, you guys need to quit being so fiddly here doing what you do. Oh, good lord. Yeah, that's one of the downfalls again of this damn Firecrest build. Is I get set on fire just about as much as the damn NPCs do. Hey, look at that over here. Alright, this guy's gonna be a pain in my ass. Hey, look, your turret's dead. So, I'm gonna look at the LED conversion and the CFL kits, see if I can go ahead and get the stuff that I need to repair this monitor. That way I can go ahead and get the video camera and update the way that I stream just a little bit. Good God Almighty, would you just kill this guy? Right, burn, burn. Look at this mission done. You guys just catch on fire and burn to death. Other than that, I'm looking into creating some new graphics so that once I'm actually able to see on my other monitor again and add the video in, I'm going to build little small graphics like a border overlay or underlay for chat and for so forth. I know it doesn't really do much good, you know, to add the chat to the screen because I'm not on Twitch, and if you're watching the stream live, then you see the chat. However, if you're watching it after the fact, then you're not. You don't see what's going on with the chat. I don't see what's going on in the chat because I'm playing full screen. These engineer guys are really going to piss me off today. So I'm just going to run over here. There you go. Make your dumbass move. Why don't I get credit for it? But graphics wise, I see a lot of other people's streams, and you know, I've been at Twitch and seen how they run theirs. I'm really not a big fan of Twitch overall, just because of, you know, couple different reasons. Come on, bring it in. Give me an achievement. Okay, I have no use for that. I got what I want. I'm getting out of here. I'm not. I mean, I know I'm just kind of old and finicky and stuff. I complain about everything. Because I can. That's just me. One of the things that really annoys me about Twitch and watching other people's streams, you get some people that have already been around, they're donators or sponsors or whatever you want to call them for Twitch, and they get a little power in chat. And I ended up dropping this one particular person and all of his friends because I subscribed to all of their channels, watched them every video as soon as they came out, and was, you know, a good viewer. I mean, I was just, you know, another person just watching their videos, but I was a fan. I enjoyed their content. It was fun and funny to watch. But I'm in that person's Twitch channel watching a live stream and asked a question, and the question that I asked was, do you play The Division? Fair enough question. Simple enough. I was muted for 5 minutes for asking the host of the live stream, the person streaming. I was muted for 5 minutes because I asked them if they played The Division, and one of their quote-unquote moderators muted me for 5 minutes for asking that question. Came back after 5 minutes and asked, why did you mute me? And their comment was, you kept asking the same question over and over and over, and I'd only ask it one time. I'm like, this is how you treat your viewers? That somebody asks a question one time and then you lie and say that they're spamming something and they're not, and then you're going to mute them for 5 minutes for asking a simple question? Meanwhile, the whole time you've got people spamming emoticons or emojis or whatever the hell you call those stupid ass things. The name changes every 2 weeks. They're spamming 20 of them in a line. They're spamming this content over and over and over again with nothing but those little smileys or emoticons. They're just spamming those. They're not getting muted. They're not getting kicked. They're not getting banned. They're spamming. What they're sending has no use in the conversation whatsoever. I ended up getting kicked again because I disputed their ability to appropriately, and I didn't get nasty, but I disputed the fact that they don't have any kind of clue on how to moderate a channel, that they were going to allow people to sit there and spam continuously useless content, but when somebody asks a legitimate question, they're going to mute somebody or essentially kick somebody out from being able to ask anything or talk for 5 minutes for asking a legit question. That's bullshit, and I'm sorry. I immediately went to that person's YouTube channel and unsubscribed and left a lengthy note on their discussion page saying, if this is how you're going to allow your people to act, you're going to lose a large number of your subscriber base, both here and there. And I haven't been back to Twitch since. I've streamed on Twitch, didn't get the viewers, didn't get anything, and it's too difficult to be able to get into other aspects of the background of Twitch, and I'm not going to get into it. I just don't like Twitch. For the most part, it's not a very good way to to make money. It's not a very good way to make quality viewers. So, yeah. YouTubers are better. See, that's what it is. So, that being said, I'm not going to be switching over and broadcasting on Twitch. Just not going to happen. It would have to be something extremely major going on for me to even consider that. So, it's just not going to happen. Equipment-wise for my channel, currently right now I'm using, and again, you guys can make fun of my equipment all you want. I'm using a 32-inch Samsung TV for the monitor. Works. I like it. Looks great. Does a great job. My headset that I'm using right now is a Plantronics. You know what? I've been using Plantronics for a long time. It's simple. It's light. It gets the job done. The audio quality of the microphone is not bad. I'm not using the earpiece of it right now, but whenever I get on a TeamSpeak or one of those type channels, it's nice having the audio from just TeamSpeak being in my ear, and it doesn't interfere with me playing the game and the game sounds. I always use a push to talk, which kind of gets annoying at times, but it's more annoying to listen to some dumbass eating potato chips with an open mic. Don't be that guy. Seriously, don't be that guy. Hardware. Never really talked about the hardware of this computer, and it's a Thermaltake case. No neon. In fact, the only lighting that I have is the generic hard drive and power light. The basic lights that come on as part of the computer. There's no neon. There's no fancy LEDs. There's no fancy clear covers. I don't like all that crap. I want my case to essentially be invisible. It sits underneath my desk and keeps my CPU and GPU cool and does a good job. Speaking of CPU, I'm running AMD. You may have your own personal argument saying that Intel's better. I don't care. I don't care. I have been using AMD processors since, oh god, some of their first stuff in the 386 realm, 486, the DLCs, the Pentium clones. I've been using them since those days, and I've been using and have never owned on purpose an Intel CPU. I only use AMD CPUs, and will always, as far as I can help it, use AMD products for CPUs, not a GPU, but for the CPU. The processor itself is an 8350, 8-core. It's good. I like it. It does a good job. It does everything that I need, and then some. I don't need anything bigger, better, faster, whatever. It gets the job done and makes me happy, and that's all that matters. As for the GPU, I'm running NVIDIA. Will always run NVIDIA products. No, I'm not going to kill a target using a sidearm. So, I have been using NVIDIA products back in the Voodoo days. Now, I did use Matrox for a short time, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, all the way back to the Voodoo products. I like NVIDIA products. They do a good job. I like them, so I'm going to stick with them. Even though I like AMD for processors, I'm not going to use their GPUs. I'm not an ATI Radeon. I'm not an ATI fan. Sorry, that's just me. I like NVIDIA. I'm going to use what I like. The card itself is a 1060 6 gig EVGA overclocked. It was not a low-end card, but it wasn't a super high-end card. The GTX 1060 6 gig, I'm very happy with the performance of it. I'm running this game right here, The Division. I'm running it at 1080p on just about everything maxed out, and I'm looking at the FPS counter, and it hasn't moved from 60 in quite some time, even though I'm not really moving. But it very seldom does it dip below 60, and if it does, the lowest I've seen it in this game under normal circumstances is around 55. And that has just been oddball situations where that's happened. The motherboard, it's I believe it was an A99. Wow, drawing a blank. It was MSI motherboard. If I was going to have my motherboard visible, where I could actually see in, I like the looks of the board. It does what I need, however, it does not support those fancy new drives that, yeah, I'm not going to get into it because it's just, it doesn't support them. It would be nice if it did. So the next PC build will actually have that, to where you've got these new micro hard drives that attach directly to the motherboard. But for now, I'm using a Western Digital Blue 1 terabyte. Again, it is an absolute generic base model 1 terabyte hard drive, but you know what? Western Digital's always made a decent product, and I've never had any problems with the old Caviar lines or any of the other Western Digital products that I've had over the years. I've just never had any problems with them. Previous brands of video cards, this is the first EVGA card that I've had. It's working as intended, so I mean, I have no complaints. But I've used PNY, and I've had several cards from PNY, and yeah, they work great, but they just don't last under extreme conditions. And yeah, I just gave up on the brand. Their customer service was great, though. I mean, I will give them that. They had good customer service. But the last video card that I had before going to this one was an EVGA, and it still works fine. It's just not a modern card by any means. It was the GT630. It will play games. I could play GTA 5 at one of the lowest possible resolutions, and pretty much just about everything on low. Not anymore. But after getting that EVGA card, I was happy with the reliability of it under adverse conditions. It held up to a lot of heat and moisture and other issues that video cards should not be subjected to. It held up, so that's why I put EVGA on top of my list for video cards to buy. And that was one of the deciding factors to get the overclock card, besides the fact that it had pretty good stats overall and it fit in my budget for the PC. I mean, everything for this PC was actually purchased over Amazon, and I had all the little pieces parts shipped all at one time. The cooler to everything. I mean, everything came from Amazon, came right to the house, popped it all together in a very short amount of time, and it's been working great ever since. Yeah, and it's held up under some bad conditions heat-wise. A little bit of water got to it. It only got onto the case. It didn't get to the electronics, but our house got flooded twice. Once while I had this machine, but I was smart enough to get it up off the floor. I almost forgot about it. Yeah, not smart, but okay. So yeah, gear wise, that's my choices on gear. I'm sticking to it. It works. It gets the job done. However, I would like to fix my second monitor. Brand on it is, I'd never heard of it, and still really haven't never heard of it. Hanspree, H-A-N-N-S-P-R-E-E, and they're just some other Chinese company, I'm assuming. It's a 22-inch monitor, model HF229H. And like I said, I'm going to have to probably go ahead and order either the CFL replacement or a LED kit, because I've been playing PC games ever since the 80s, where we're talking TRS-80 color computer, and then getting into the first 8086s, 286, 386, 486, 486 DLCs, the Pentium clones. Yeah. So I've been around PC gaming for quite some time, and I've always had one monitor, one TV, one whatever. And once you get used to having a second monitor, you kind of get hooked. Having a third monitor is nice. The first time I ever used dual monitors was, I hate to admit this, but it was on a Mac, and I was working for a newspaper, doing advertising for the newspaper, actually assembling the ads to go into the paper, and was trying to get them into the modern world. And they had a Mac. They had, you know, all of the software needed for doing the work right there on the computer, and being able to assemble the ads, scale everything, and size it, and make it all look right. However, at the time, this newspaper was still living in the 60s or 70s or 80s or whatever. They were just outdated, and they would rather take a photocopy of their borders and so forth and photocopy it, trim it out, and piece it together with pieces of tape on another, piece of paper, and lay it out and build it by hand like that, using photocopiers and clear tape. And I was like, why are you guys still doing it like this when you have the computers, you have the software, you have the ability to do this 10 times quicker right here? And that was why I ended up quitting, is because, well, one thing was partially, we'll get into it, but it was the technology. They were refusing to use technology, and I don't know how this paper is still in existence. If it is, it's a small town paper, but having a second monitor, especially if you're streaming, if you're old and finicky and must have your games full screen like I am, and you're going to want to stream, you're going to want, and I'm using OBS right now. OBS I like having it on my other screen. That way I can see the video, I can see what's going on. And right now I use the insert, delete, home, end, page up, page down, that little cluster of 6 keys I've got set up as hotkeys. I don't use them for anything else. I almost never use them. So I've got them set up as hotkeys for OBS. But like for right now, page up is to start recording. I've got page down to stop recording. Home is the main view, which would be what you guys are seeing right now with the video and the main part of the game with the ticker at the bottom. That's the main screen. So home, I've got that assigned to that scene being home. But then again, what I had working for a short time, then the camera quit working, was I had chat and video up on the right hand side of the screen, and then I had the actual video from the game itself in a bordered window that I created a border for it, and then I had some other stuff on top and some other text and the scrolling ticker and all kind of fancy stuff going on, and I could switch between the two. So if I wanted to incorporate chat, see what's going on with chat, I can hit end, see that, and then if I need to, I can, and cheat, I would hit B to open up. If you ever watch me play and you see me doing, just hitting the screen to come into a different menu, by hitting B, coming to the screen, now lets me slide my mouse over to the other screen, so I can actually click into the chat box and be able to type something into chat. So if you ever saw that as I stopped for a moment and then bing, because I have chat turned off, Normally what I could do is hit enter to go into chat, and then it would give me my mouse cursor. I could flip my mouse cursor over to the other screen and do that. But since I have chat disabled, so that I don't have, and I'm not, well, yeah, I am an ass, and I complain about everything, but I don't want to see Chinese spam. And I'm not talking about just Chinese people talking back and forth. I don't want to see that either. But I'm talking about legitimate Chinese spam where they're spamming about, you know, leveling your character or farming your exotics or whatever. Yeah, if you're stupid enough to give away your account information to some Chinese farmer so that they can get your exotic caches for you, you deserve to lose your account. And I'm not talking about just having it hijacked and stolen, but you need to have your account banned. If you're that stupid, go away. Not worth it. Because I bet half of you, and I'm going to be mean about this, but I'm sure there's probably half of you out there, since you're entering in your information for your account, your login information, I'm not going to say the parameters of, you know what it is if you got the game, but I guarantee you that at least half of you are probably running the same username and password is the same as your email password, and probably other passwords as well. Not smart. I personally have a program that I put together that is a random password generator, and essentially what I do is I don't have anybody in my house that doesn't need to be on my computer. It's just not a problem. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of masking tape and I put it on the top of my monitor, or I can put it on the bottom of the monitor if I decide to change where I want to actually place it. But I mean, I've even actually taken, I've got a glass desk and I got metal support bar that goes across. It's a round tube, and I can actually put it right there. But I will write on the masking tape the current password. I rotate through my passwords at random intervals. It's not like, okay, it's Thursday, it's time to change my password. No, I just randomly change it. So all I have to do is just peel off that masking tape, write down the new password, stick it down there, and change my passwords for everything. And I rotate through, and now the password that I use for the division is not the same password that I use for my emails. I have probably 12 email accounts in various different locations. So, you know, I have a cheat sheet that I make, then I rotate through with those little pieces of masking tape what the password is for the division, or email 1, email 2, email 3, whatever. You know, that way I can rotate through them at random intervals to make it a little bit more difficult for someone to actually gain access to my crap. I'm going to tell you right now, if you try hacking into my bank accounts, first off, you're not going to get anything. But, you know, yeah, just not worth it. I don't have any money. So, moving right along, and we've been going for getting close to the hour-and-a-half mark on this stream. And what I'll probably do is I'll wrap it up here very shortly. Stop cheering. Shut up. To finish off the video, I want to basically discuss the overall direction of the channel. And what I would like to do is naturally build the number of subscriber base up as much as I possibly can. And to do that, I'm going to need to make some changes to the way I do things. Right now I have been running the Monday through Friday, actually trying to run it 7 days a week, but these broadcasts are doing a 2-hour stream every night. A lot more people are going to watch a short video than they are a long video, and I get a couple views here and there on my long broadcast. And the whole point was trying to get more interest generated through YouTube gaming. Now, I would like to get more interest on YouTube gaming, and if I had more interest, I would extend the amount of time that I'm actually streaming and actually doing things there. And just because I'm streaming here, it's also being broadcast on YouTube gaming. So if you have no clue about YouTube gaming, then I would definitely suggest that you check it out. If you're watching this video as an example, or any of my videos, and you see below the video itself, you'll actually see that it says The Division, 2016 or whatever, and then it'll say Explore on YouTube Gaming. You click on that link, it'll actually bring up YouTube Gaming. It's a whole different interface, and it is definitely all about gaming on YouTube. And primarily what you're going to find is a lot of live streamers, and you'll also find video game related videos only, and I think it's pretty cool. So if I had a lot more interest going and a steady number of viewers on YouTube gaming or YouTube live stream in general, then I would continue to do 2 to 3, maybe 4 hour a night broadcast, primarily Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, it'll probably be mixed. I may stream, may not stream. I don't use social media. I have a Facebook page associated with this channel. I very seldom remember to actually go to it. I don't use Facebook. I don't use Twitter or whatever. I don't know. I don't care what's out there. I don't use them. However, I can actually look into, and this is reliant on number of subscribers and income from YouTube. And I'm not going to, and I need to do it, but I don't want to sink any of my personal money into the YouTube channel. I shouldn't have to. Well, I should have to. You got to get started. You got to spend money to make money, right? So most of the hardware I've got gets the job done, but I do need to get the other monitor working, and I would like to get a webcam so that I can actually stop denying you people the privilege of seeing my beautiful face. I don't want to deprive you guys from that. But yeah, the hardware wise, that's all I'm going to do is either fix or replace my other monitor and add a webcam. I'm not planning on updating my microphone anytime soon. I'm not planning on upgrading any of my other hardware anytime soon. That's just, it's not in the budget right now. Replacing the monitor is not really in the budget. Buying another camera is not really in the budget. But those are things that I've decided I want to do. Now, Monday through Friday, the streams on YouTube gaming and live streams, I would like to be able to see the chat that's going on, and if I have to, I've got several cell phones. In fact, I've got one that I can actually, I don't actually have service on it, but I have it on the Wi-Fi. Plus I have a couple of Android tablets, and probably bring in one of the tablets. They're both on the Wi-Fi, and actually view it and actually respond on the tablet, because both my Android tablets that I've got, and they're two different sizes. I bought one that was a little bit smaller because I plan on using it as a essentially part of a touchscreen stereo system for one of the Jeeps. Yes, I have 2 Jeeps right now. But yeah, they both have keyboards that you can dock the actual tablet into it, and they're inexpensive, but they get the job done and they work well. So it's good enough for me. I don't get hung up. I do get hung up on brands for some things, but on Android tablets, I like things to be simple. So I bought simple tablets, and could actually for now bring in one of those tablets idea what the hell that sound was. And it is kind of annoying hearing that sound. Freaking wild card. And it's the weapon that's actually making that clicking and weird sound that, if you look at the weapon itself, the house, one half of the magazine does 25% increased damage. The half which deals increased damage flips after 10 seconds. Or when the mag is empty. But, so as of now, every 10 seconds, you can see the cards underneath the grenade. You can see the timer kicking down. Yeah, it's not going to play the sound now, but yeah, as long as you have that weapon selected, every 10 seconds you're going to hear that beep, and it gets kind of annoying. But content for the video is the next point that I want to get into. The live streams Monday through Friday. Right now I'm doing a lot of the Division, but that's not the only game on the planet. Do I like the game? Yes. Do I like 1.8? Yeah. Do I like 1.7? Yeah. But, you know, if you want other Uplay games, I've got, of course, Ghost Recon Wildlands. I bought the game, I pre-ordered the game, and as soon as it was available and downloaded and installed and ready to rock and roll, in 3 to 4 days I'd already beat the game, and it bumped it up in difficulty. And yeah, after I beat a game in 3 to 4 days, it just kind of loses flavor. You know, I get out there and the replayability of it, compared to something like Grand Theft Auto 5, we'll say, the replayability of open world games, if all there is to do is fly around, land, steal a car, shoot people in the face, maybe steal a boat, or there's very limited things to do, game gets old relatively quick. Now, there was in on the closed beta testing for the new PvP mode, and played a little bit, and it was okay. You know, I'm not a big PvP fan, but I got on there, and yes, I kicked ass a little bit, and made me feel good, so I played a few more battles, and yeah, but it just wasn't my thing. So I kind of lost interest in Ghost Recon Wildlands. In fact, really none of the Ghost Recon games have ever really done anything for me. Steam games, got a bunch on there. We've got a lot of the usual suspects you see a lot of other YouTubers doing, like Ark Survival Evolved. I've got the Hunter Call of the Wild. I've got Conan Exiles. I've got, God, the list goes on of mainline games, but not getting into Fortnite. I'm not doing PUBG. Don't even ask. Don't even go there. The Battle Royale games I have no use for, because right now it's the current trend and everybody's into it. It's like the DayZ thing there for a while, and it wasn't about the survival aspect, it's all about the PvP. And if you were into PvP, knock yourself out. But the PUBG and DayZ and Fortnite, Battle Royale, or any of that kind of stuff, you can forget it. I'm not doing it. CSGO, forget about it. That game's been dead for 10 years. The type of games that I look forward to, and what I probably need to do, is actually get back to work on my game. I spent way too much time with my nose stuck in the Division and the PTS the last few days, but you know, I need to get back to work on my game. So if you have suggestions for content and for other games for me to play and discuss and talk about, then feel free to suggest them. If I have them, I'll do them on the stream. If I don't have them, well, I, you know, can't play something I don't have. Now, when it comes to my game, what I may end up doing is one or more of the nights on the Monday through Friday live stream, instead of it actually being all about the division or all about whatever, I may actually spend that time working on my game and discussing parts about the game, and that's to generate more interest in it and try to get more people on board to actually help with the content of it and the layout of it, because I think that, and honestly, my next video is probably going to be about that game. And I think that if it had enough help and enough interest in it, then development could actually proceed relatively quickly, and I think people would enjoy the game. You know, I'll spend no more than about 5 minutes talking about the game, and then I'm going to shut down this live stream for now. But what it is I'm using Unreal Engine 4, and I am creating a first-person based, it's a first-person game. It's a shooter-looter, but trying to put in quite a few role-playing or RPG based elements. A leveling system, crafting system, hunger system, thirst system. And currently right now I have the hunger, I have the thirst, and I have the health system. But what's happened is a new patch came out for Unreal Engine 4, and right now I'm using placeholder animations and placeholder models and so forth, and the animations don't quite work with the current release. So there's some issues back and forth. So I've actually had to start a secondary attempt of working on it in an older version of Unreal Engine 4. Won't get into that, but in other words, the animations weren't working, so the death animation wasn't working. So pretty much I've gone back to another version of it just so I can get back to testing ideas. But the basics of the game, again, first-person shooter. It's a looter shooter, RPG, and large amounts of social interactions are planned for it. Hunger system, thirst system. Currently, right now, the placeholder models are the Android, not really an Android, but it's the mannequin for Unreal Engine 4. But it's a robot for right now. But you will actually be playing a human character. The basic concept for it is, I don't want to like try to pick up off of anybody else's content and ideas, but you know, it's kind of hard to have original content anymore. But it's a clone system. It's been used in other games and movies and so forth. Sorry, it works for what I'm trying to accomplish here. And I'm not trying to copy anybody else's stuff, but essentially you're a clone. And now whenever you get killed, and it's a pretty good chance you're probably going to get killed at some point in the game, if you get killed, instead of it being game over or you respawn somewhere else, you're actually a clone. And now there was another game, and I won't mention the name of it because I'm not going to advertise for somebody else's stuff that I'm not getting paid for. Yeah, I'm being a whore. The basic concept is you have, when you log in, log out of the game, essentially you need to log in or log out at either your home or a central location that has a uplink location. You can't constantly uplink. You actually have to, it's usually like a save point. You need to essentially, as your character, you need to go over, find a location that actually has a an uplink location, and once you get there, you walk over and uplink, and now that has saved your character. At that point, once you have saved your character, you can now log out. Everything's fine. If you're getting ready to go out and do something stupid, or if you're getting ready to go out and engage in combat, or what have you, you need to go and back up your character or do a data save point. The only thing it's going to save is your basic information, your skill levels, your things like that, and your currency, because the currency is all going to be electronic currency. There's not going to be a physical currency. If you shoot another player and they fall down on the ground, you go over to loot them, you're not going to get their cash. It's an electronic currency system. It's the way the world should be right now, but so you can actually, if you do get killed while you're out doing something, or if you get murdered in the street, the only thing you're going to lose is physical possessions you had on you. If you're carrying a gun, you're going to lose your gun, your clothes, your physical stuff. But you can respawn at a clone center, and essentially they're going to upload your data into a new clone body, and you'll have currency, but you won't have the physical possessions that you had unless you're able to get back to your body's location and pick it up before somebody else does. That kind of stuff. And I'll go more into depth into that, and I'll break out my dev notes and so forth and discuss the main aspects of the game in more detail, because I think, and that's just a big quick taste of it, but I think that there's enough content in what I've got already written down for my development ideas that I think that there's enough PvP combat. It doesn't reward douchebaggery, but it allows it, so to speak. It also has safe zones where you don't have to worry about douchebaggery. You can go about your business and be in a cooperative and or PvE only, no player versus player damage, no friendly fire or unfriendly fire. There's going to be enough content for a larger, more diverse population of gamers. And with the amount of social interactions and basically I want to avoid a lot of microtransactions. There will be some, but I want to avoid large-scale microtransactions. I don't want to make a pay-to-play or a pay-to-win based game. So premium stuff is primarily cosmetic, kind of like this game. A lot of the stuff that you buy that's it's primarily geared towards cosmetic stuff, and I like that model. You can't do a World of Tanks and buy a premium tank that can easily get preferential matchmaking and just blow shit up and be ungodly. Yeah, nothing preferential. The stuff that primarily you get from the store would be primarily cosmetic stuff that won't give you an advantage in combat. But my game is not just about combat, it's about the social interactions, whether friendly or unfriendly. There will be full-on war, full-on combat. There will be basic levels of crime. Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going into this. So I'm actually going to cover that in my next video, and it may be a long video as well because there's a lot of commentary and a lot of content. And yeah, make sure you stay tuned for information about it. And I haven't mentioned the name of the game yet, I don't think, but I'll mention it now. We'll see how this goes. But the name of the game is Rebirth, and that's it. It's just Rebirth. So basically, the concept is every time you die, you're reborn, and you're replaced with another clone body with your latest backup. So yeah, there we go. I am going to call this video quits, and please make sure, and like I said, I thank you for watching the video, but please make sure you throw me a comment down. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button for me, and definitely hit subscribe. I need all three of those. Hit it now, right now, this very second. Not 10 minutes, but right now. Anyway, so yeah, definitely hit that thumbs up, leave me a nice comment, and subscribe for me. And we'll see you in the next video.